Right, okay, welcome to the pod.
A pod.
It's great to have Paul back. I've been a couple of days. I've been not seen Paul really, only passingly.
He's actually been two podding me. He's been podding around.
Yeah. I have. I've been on someone else's pod.
Dirty. Double podder.
A bloke called Nigel Warburton.
No relation.
Well, to who?
Warburton.
Warburton. You know what Warburton does? Seriously, makes those crumpets that I love.
Oh, I thought you were going to tell me some story about a Burton who works in the war, like a warmonger who was also a Warburton.
And he did a pod, but I tell you what, I was just saying to Paul that he has this great thing where he had one microphone which he held, and you could only talk when he was pointing the microphone at you, which means I couldn't interrupt him.
Yeah.
And
God, what bliss that would be.
Yeah, I know. I just thought, God.
Anyway, I heard you on the radio this morning.
Which one? Five Live.
Five Talk Radio.
5 Live.
Yes.
Radio 5 with Emma Barnett.
Yeah, and your mum.
And my mum, yeah. Well, I'm promoting my book this week, and it's been it's what has it been, Paul?
I thought you were flirting with her.
No way.
Emma Barnett.
No way. What I've realised is that the way that I carry on with people normally is you just can't do that in any of these professional situations. I mean, even be over-friendly. I don't mean sexual in any way at all. Just over-friendly, because they are hardened
to all that.
And it's also a very corporate atmosphere, so there's very tight, rigid boundaries around everyone.
All right.
And it's just like not funny. Even if you kind of make a kind of slightly naughty joke, I don't mean it for sexual nature, but any nature,
no.
cheeky.
They're just not interested.
They're just not interested. They're just
Oh,
not
yeah,
interested.
whatever.
They've heard it, yeah, right. They've heard it all before.
Yes.
You know, and you're
even your stuff.
And you're and you're in a seat which, like, is, some of the most famous bums in British showbiz
Yes.
have settled.
Yes.
You know, in the last kind of 3 or 4 weeks. It's still warm from kind
Do
of.
dry up, you tedious-looking man.
You know? So I just was really on best behaviour and just trying to do.
I've had a wall in here. It's back of his cab.
And the one of the things I noticed was the really high security around media, getting into both the Sky, getting into the Sky City at Osterley, wherever it is, where they do all the TV, they make shows, all sorts of stuff, is like getting into a kind of high securitized zone. It's like going into sort of a heavy embassy in Afghanistan.
Well, you know why?
Like the green zone.
Do you know why?
Because that's where they want to get.
They want to get in there and start broadcasting out.
They certainly
They would do a beheading on the radio if they could.
Absolutely.
Which wouldn't be as impactful.
What, the SDP? Liberal Democrats?
Beheading one of their members. Beheading half of their membership.
No, and it's a real sense of like, we're going to control everybody who comes anywhere near here. And also what I really got, Paul, which I liked, was the closer you got to the studio where they're actually interviewing the politicians and putting the news out.
Yeah.
They're making the news. They've got a tube of it and they're squeezing it out. It's like the hole that news comes out of.
It's a small sphincter.
There's so much energy there. Not just the energy of the lights, because all those lights are bright, but the intensity of all those people around there. The importance of that spot, because it has got so important, particularly with this Brexit stuff going on. What's going on in those lights is really, it's one of the most, I guess it used to be like the altar at Canterbury Cathedral or somewhere. I don't know, but it's like a really important spot, and as I got there, it got more and more frightening.
Got more and more important.
No, not at all. I felt absolutely withered and
constricted as they tried to force you through the sphincter.
Yeah, and it was just absolutely terrible, and I just got smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. I didn't think I'd be able to even reach up to get on the chair. It was like I felt so small.
That's what they say happens when you go on telly.
And insignificant.
You become wider and smaller.
Right.
And your head expands.
Before the interview started, we had a little chat. And you know, she'd just done like about 10 minutes, a quarter of an hour with Tom Watson about Brexit and about anti-Semitism and all that. And then, ding, he's out the chair, boom, I'm in the chair.
Right.
And she just like flicks through some papers. She's got my book on the table. I can tell she hasn't opened it, okay? Not read it, not read it, I can tell she hasn't opened it, okay?
Right.
And obviously I don't want to catch her, I don't want her to be caught out. I don't want
Should have gone for her.
No way!
She just fucking gone for her, Diane. Humiliated her.
I should
Have you written it then?
No, I should.
Why
I
are you
would have
interviewing
got. I would
me?
have got. You know that amazing bit where I give my mother that pink lemon? She goes, "Oh yeah, of course." I go, "That's not in it."
You fraud.
But in fact, and I did think about that. But obviously, as soon as I got there, just the whole power, the overwhelming power of the whole thing.
You were diminished.
Totally, and I just thought I just don't want to get into any trouble.
Yes.
And
They'll never let you on there again if you do something
well,
like that.
also it just did seem to be ungracious to.
But what about Tracy then? Does it make that all the more extraordinary that day that she went on there and did the last swearing on British television after the Sex Pistols?
Have you actually seen that whole interview? It wasn't like being interviewed one-on-one. It was, they were in a group discussion, do you remember? And Tim Marlowe was the goddamn presenter. Did you know that?
Oh, it was him.
Tim Marlowe was the presenter, yeah. And if you
was somewhat eclipsed.
If you go back and watch it, the other people in the group were so dull and pompous and up their arses. I mean, it was so ripe. It was typical Tracy. She didn't just do it, off the cuff. She didn't do it in a wrong direction. She could see it was an entirely appropriate response.
She had this mad metal finger at the time. She caught a hand in the conveyor belt of a luggage thing on, and so she had this big metal finger which she was kind of poking at them all through the interview. It was really alarming because obviously they didn't know what it was. She just had this really strange prosthesis on her hand.
Yeah, but I didn't go rogue. I didn't feel like going rogue, and everyone was very kind to me, and the situation didn't merit going rogue. They were trying to be nice to me, so we had a quick chat. She goes, "Tell me what this thing's about." They go, the adverts are on. And you suddenly hear an advert starting, and the volume goes down, and they all relax visibly. They all sit back and slump. So the two presenters, and the nice lady presenter said, "Tell me quickly what this is about. What am I going to ask you?" And I said, "This is what the book's about. Da 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 da. Here's a good question. Here's a good question." She said, "That's great. What can I talk to you about this?" I go, "Yeah, definitely ask me about that. It's fine." Because the good thing about that is, it's so articulate, Paul. I'm just not stammering. I'm not waffling. I'm on pure pod adrenaline. It's like the words are flying out of me so fucking sweetly. I can see her brightening towards me, thinking this is going to be okay. And then she says, "Right, okay." And the stage woman says, "Okay, everyone, the ads, 5 seconds to the ads finish, whatever."
Are we on the telly?
Telly, we're on the telly.
This is
on the telly, yeah.
Which I didn't see.
So then the ads finish. Click. I see a big red light go on. Everyone leans forward and puts on their TV face, and she turns to me and she asks me a question, and I didn't hear it.
Oh no.
Did I tell you this last night? Did I tell you this last night?
No.
She spoke perfectly at a perfectly reasonable level.
It was her mouth moving, but
Yeah, and the words just went straight. I wanted to turn around and see if they had gone
Stuck to the wall.
Yeah, and I heard myself saying something I don't know what. My words podding when I'm wind back. And I really stuttered.
Like fly in the fly with a human head.
I'm not exaggerating. I just got stuck on a word.
Like whoop 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 whoop.
And what was so alarming was I'm not exaggerating. Was the change in her facial expression? She'd gone from total confidence to like,
oh shit!
What the fuck is going on? And she went down, started rustling her papers, and I was still. No, then I'm not exaggerating, Paul. Then I've got to really keep it on level and not be anecdotal about it. So then I thought, right. She then asked me another question, which I got. I thought, right, okay, I can think of a little tiny anecdote. It's going to work. It's quite funny. And I started off on it, and I realised that the answer she wanted was basically 10 words, no, maybe 15 words maximum, possibly 3 sentences. And the story that I was going to tell, I realised, was like 4 minutes, 5. But it was worth it because I knew
monologuing.
We wouldn't call it monologuing. It wasn't that long, not 4 minutes, but it was a little story. And I knew it had a funny ending.
Right.
And she was just like waving her finger in front of me, like, "You've got to stop." And I couldn't find a way out of this story, and I just couldn't get to the. I couldn't get.
She was waving her
She waved
finger
her
at
finger,
you.
and I just couldn't. And so I'd put together 3 or 4 sentences, which without hearing the rest of the story, were like kind of mentally ill. It was so dreadful. She just said to
Like a
me,
mad
she just said,
person.
"I'm so sorry,
But
we've got to stop. We've run out."
But you've run out.
Anyway, and then she said,
You're
you
not
know,
welcome. I'm really sorry, but you're not welcome here anymore.
It was so horrible, and I just wanted to get out of there as fast as possible. And the good thing is that the Sky don't let you look at clips of their news unless you've paid for it. So no one can see it unless I pay for it.
What?
And
You know, other people can see it if they pay for it.
You know, you can't go onto this, can they?
Anyone can, Guy.
Oh really?
It's the news.
I thought
It's not just exclusive to you.
I thought, oh no, really? Oh,
That's
God.
when you were on the TV. You were broadcasting.
I don't think anyone can see it.
It's already on YouTube.
I shouldn't have potted this.
Watch this bumbling fool crash and burn. I think it's called.
I never want to see it. That much I know. I never
I
want
asked
to see it.
Keith what he said.
No, don't! I don't want to hear. I don't want to. I don't want to hear. I don't want to hear.
Shall I quote exactly?
No, I don't want to hear. Okay.
Guy, don't be sensitive.
I
You can't be on telly and be sensitive about these things. Let's just have a quick look.
Did you see? Yeah, and anyway, so.
And I quote.
Oh no!
No, he says, here we
waffling.
go. How did he come across on the telly?
Oh, don't.
Was my question.
No, it's going to be horrible.
And he said, and I quote, not sure he had the news format's brevity worked out as they cut him off mid-anecdote, which is a sin, exclamation mark. I said, Ag, no, he doesn't have that worked out. He operates better in after-dinner mode. Which is true.
Absolutely.
You love an after-dinner speech, Guy.
Oh.
An anecdote. Anyway, I said I hope the
Well, so basically, my recollection is completely correct. Because my story matches up with that, doesn't it?
It does, yes.
Yeah, totally. He was polite enough not to say what my first answer, which didn't actually comprise any words at all. Intelligible in the English language. Look, it's very frightening when someone asks you a question on live TV and you don't hear it.
It must be, yeah. I've been on the telly before.
Let me guess. Is it Crime Watch?
No, but my uncle was on Crime Watch once. My uncle Gerard, if he's listening to this, he'll kill me. But he was like a bit of a rogue. My uncle Gerard, an Irishman, my mother's youngest brother. They put an advert in the stage. Him and his mate. They said, "Oh, all these actors are just desperate for work. Let's put an advert in the stage." And offered to put together a tape, like a videotape of them acting, and we'll send it out to agents. And they thought we'll probably get a few if we charge a tenner each. We'll make a bit of money on the side. And he said they put this advert in the stage.
And what did it say?
And it said something like, actors, do you need exposure? We can get you to the right people. Send £10 check to this number and a demonstration tape and we'll put it on our thing. So he said, and they went in the first day and there were 5 tapes on the doormat. And they were like, fucking hell, that's 50 quid down the... So they were down the pub and everything. They came back and the second poster was another 10. And it went on like that for a week. They were just coming through the letterbox more and more. And it was like, oh, this is great. All the tapes were stacking up in the corner and all the checks were on the thing. And they were down the pub every day because they're, Irishmen. And then one day, I think about 3 weeks into it, and the tapes just kept on coming. There were loads of them. He said by this time they weren't even bothered to stack them anymore. They were just taking the chicks out and putting them in the corner of the room. And then he said...
Trampling on the dreams
and then
of
these
poor
other
people.
letters started to arrive with them.
When do we expect the
I've got another one of them. No, just throw them away. Just make sure there's no check in it. And I can't remember if they actually asked for more money. I think they might have done, because it was regarded... Well, they took a very dim view of it anyway. And so the next thing was, it was a quiet week on Crime Watch. And my uncle ended up on Crime Watch saying, do you know when they do that bit and they do little sketches of people? Right. This pair have been taking advantage of out-of-work actors. Do you know this man? And it's like my uncle's fizz-on. He's got a big scar on his cheek, which he got falling over drunk. He's not a violent person. And I think he did. He had a suspended sentence in the end. He ran away to Canada and then came back and had
face justice.
faced music.
Yeah, face the music. Yeah.
Fucking great, though.
Yeah. What were you on TV for?
Oh, well, on which occasion? Well, there were a number of appearances, you see, Guy. I'm no spring chicken, you know. I'm a lot older than I look. 40 years in the business. I've been on that Alan Yentob thing, talking about art. I've been on Blue Peter.
Hold on, you were on an Alan Yentob show about art?
Yeah, it's called Art is Child's Play, where artists were talking about their childhoods.
Okay.
We all made shoeboxes for some charity thing, and then they auctioned them off. And that for the same thing, I went on Blue Peter, and they gave me a badge and everything, not a gold one. You had to make them money or something to do that.
Did you watch Blue Peter when you were a child?
Yes.
Did you?
Yeah, I loved it. So it was a real buzz to be on it. I mean, you couldn't be on Vision On anymore because it's not on the telly anymore. Or
Is Blue Peter running now?
no, it's gone now. It was the last year that it was on that I went on it.
God, it must have been an amazing decision to axe that.
Fuck yeah. But with John Noakes
It's just like saying, childhood's fucked.
Yeah.
Why
forget it.
don't we just accept
Top
it?
of the Pops as well when they got rid of
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Well, that's
Forget it, it's
yeah.
fucking
No, that
pointless.
wasn't quite childhood. That was just the music industry's changed so much. But then also, I remember that. I tell you what they did try and do, which used to really amuse me. They tried to have some children's programs on Radio 4. They said, "What good is would have trained kids to listen to talk?"
To what? Train them to listen to what?
Talk radio, to radio
Indoctrinate
programs.
them.
No, it was like they would tell stories. They had a magazine program for kids.
Oh,
It
like,
was-
hey, kids.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's exactly it. And the mum and dad were meant to turn the radio on, and the kids were meant to sit and listen to this quite lame program, appealing to children in the era of, the tablet.
Yes.
The Game Boy, the game, the
Yeah.
video game, and that the kids were meant to sit down and listen to radio.
This week we're going to the Imperial War Museum.
Yes, it's really exciting. We're going on a canal
Come on,
walk.
guy.
We're going on a canal walk.
This week we're discussing how to fix your bike at home.
And it was called, the guy was called Max. I remember that. Who was this poor sap who was made to front it up, and he was increasingly. You could feel his throat was tighter and tighter each week as you felt the audience was going to
figures
single
dropping,
figures. There was so few. You just couldn't imagine any child. I think occasionally our kids would like walk through the room, and I'd say, "Kids, listen to this," and they'd just like totally blank me. Just keep on walking.
Yeah, this is great.
Yeah, and they just like walk straight past me.
Yeah, to the Game Boy. Or
Yeah,
whatever.
exactly.
I heard yesterday a child's voice on Radio 4 advertising some kids' programme on Radio 4.
Did you?
Yes, and I thought, well, that's not going to go very well.
Well, I
on the radio in the car.
Yesterday you were very drunk, weren't you? You sure? Did you hear?
No, this was in the drive over when I wasn't drunk.
Okay, I've not heard that, and I am amazed that with Radio 4 we're going to go down that suicidal path
Again, once more into the breach.
to be mown down by
Half a league onwards into the valley of death. Road children's programming.
exactly by modern technology. Anyway, you were quite drunk last night, weren't you?
Hammered. So I'd missed your speech because it was so hot in there. Because what I didn't realise was all those walls in the gallery where you had your opening were all heated.
Yeah. Do you know why?
Hot walls?
Art.
In the name of art.
They were an art installation, Paul.
One more in the name of art.
They were an art installation. That wall. It was warm.
Warm walls.
A huge server.
What does that say then?
It's like a huge server, and your emails are behind that.
Is it? What was it? A firewall? Is that what they're trying to say?
I don't know. I'm
A
not.
bit shit in it. Sorry, this is your art, but I'm not going to knock it. You never thought of that, did you?
What?
Hot walls.
No. And I couldn't have done it myself. That's for certain.
I could fucking do that.
But anyway, good luck to you.
Just a hairdryer.
It was a bit of an extraordinary thing to have.
I just thought they were doing some building work.
Yeah, it was. I mean, the party went off okay.
Has he sold it then?
The party went off okay, didn't it? It was the party.
Yeah, I just got a bit hot and had to slip out.
slip out. Yeah. How about this? We've been sent by a
listener.
a little present which I'm going to open. It says to Paul and Guy.
What does it say in the little card?
One of our first listeners and most loyal listeners, Vanessa. And you read the card out.
Vanessa SB. It says, oh, it doesn't say anything.
Okay. And it's like a little pamphlet, and it's called It's February 1972. It says on the bottom, and the main title is A Handbook of Drug Terms.
Useful.
And then underneath, revised to bring it right up to date.
To bring it bang up to date.
And then there's a little dictionary. There's a little dictionary of. I'm going to test you, okay?
Okay, go on.
Hold on, let me just see. And then it's like a little glossary.
Go on then. Hit me, Daddy-o.
What's a brain tickler?
A brain tickler?
Yeah.
A condom used in a brain fuck. Head fuck.
Pills of any type.
Oh, any type of pill.
Particularly amphetamines. What's a bombita?
Oh, that's easy.
What?
Something that you beat your bomb with.
No, it's an injection of heroin and amphetamine.
Oh, Jesus. Spicy.
No, I'm glad. No wonder I don't know that now.
Go on then. God, this is quite enlightening.
Yeah. Candy.
Candy, that's easy.
What?
That's a general purpose drug term.
Well, actually, it says here there are two uses for it. One is barbiturates, and two is a nickname for cocaine.
Oh.
Candy. Yeah, brain candy. They say that in
brain
Jamaica.
candy.
You want some brain candy? Businessman's trip.
Oh, I know what that is.
Yeah, you do.
Methyltryptamine.
God, you know that DMT, yeah. You short-acting hallucinogen. You told me it was the businessman's drug, yeah.
Well, that's what they used to call it.
Yeah.
But I can't see any businessmen taking that for very long. Not saying businessmen anyway. The ex-businessman's trip.
Okay, I'm going to try and catch you up. One more last one. An ice cream habit.
Like a hand shandy.
But you're addicted to
The
wanking.
creamy wank.
No, an ice cream habit, quite nice, is an off and on use of drugs.
Oh, an ice cream habit.
That's what I've got.
that what you've
got an ice cream habit, yeah. I mean, I'm not like, I can live without them.
Yeah.
Needle freak.
What?
Needle freak is one who is addicted more to the needle than the drug.
Yeah, they'll put anything in it. Any old shit. Ground up tablets. A needle, they just like the rush of it going in the vein. I used to know one of them.
Did you?
It was a Hell's Angel. What about a travel agent? This is like made up. It's like cake.
What's travel
It's
agent?
like a Chris Morris glossary of
Bullshit.
I wonder if
to
they
catch you out.
So what is a travel agent?
Presumably a dealer who moves around.
Somebody who supplies LSD. Right, I'm going to use some terms now in a sentence, right? And I want you to see if you can get it. Yeah, man. He was hung up on that huffer, but his habit to Dexys ended up being a contact high.
I don't know what a huffer is. A huffer is he was hung up. He had a preternatural interest in.
Do you know what a huffer is?
But he also liked some dextrosterone.
Dextrose.
No. He liked his friend to take it, so he got the effects through association.
Okay, that's correct. But you did.
What is huffer?
You fell down on the huffer.
Yeah, what is
which
that?
is somebody who gets high by inhaling the fumes of petrol.
You huffer.
People will do anything to get high.
It hasn't come to that with us.
It hasn't yet come to that.
No.
So anyway, I heard today on the radio. I don't know what your thoughts would be on this. That do you know that the fatwa that was pronounced on Salman Rushdie?
Yes.
It was actually set up by two English blokes who went on holiday to Iran and just went to see one of the imams and said, "We think you should put a fatwa out on this guy," and that's how it started.
Yeah, but had the ground not been really fertile, we would never have heard of it again.
Probably not.
But whether or not they knew it was, or whether they were a symptom of it, there was a turning point in history just about to arrive, and it just he was just on the pivot. But it would have happened with someone else, and not necessarily a factor on a book. But he took the piss royally out of being a Muslim at the time, just when the Muslims were saying, "We're fucked off with this."
There's a creaking sound. Can you hear it? It's the thin ice under our feet as we venture out into this.
right. As we get a fatwa put on that's just ridiculous. No. We're not being disrespectful at all.
We're not being disrespectful.
No, not at all.
Not
I'm
at
saying.
all. Why are you smirking?
Listen, I'm not. Don't put.
He is.
You're
He's
a
smirking.
death sentence.
No, I don't want a death sentence on you.
Stop saying
You're getting
I'm smirking.
overexcited.
Relax. They were
just
just
relax.
listen to me. The Muslims were saying, rightly, in my opinion, we're fucked off with being
He's now raising his finger to the sky.
disrespected and ignored by the Christians and the Jews. And we are not going to take it anymore. And when that book came out, which I couldn't be asked to read because it was really boring.
It was thick.
Thick, big. More burnt than read, that book.
I heard
Quite a good thing to have said about your book. More people burnt it than read it.
One of the mullahs on the radio said, actually, it was quite a good book. If they'd just removed these offensive bits, it would still have been a good book.
Yeah, well...
But he wouldn't remove them, therefore we had to kill him.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
It had to be pronounced, and
Yeah,
that was what was going to happen.
yeah.
I actually thought it was fair enough. I would put a few more fatwas out on a few other authors as well while I was at it.
You're on grammatical grounds.
Well, yeah, or just on the grounds of releasing shit books. What about some fatwas on artists as well?
Philip K. Dick.
Fuck you. This is why you're not a mullah. You haven't got a fucking clue.
Shall we try? Oh, I know what I'm going to have.
Oh, what are you going to do?
A beer.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Cleansing beer.
I might have a little glass just to join you, so you're not drinking alone.
Yeah, good.
I was going to say something to you about the run-up to last night. Did you have any one there that you weren't expecting?
Yeah.
This is a guy's launch last night.
Yeah,
this book.
yeah.
Who was there? Can you talk about it?
Well, I don't want to seem at all name-droppy or anything like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you know what I mean? Again, I'm not sure that it really suits me to say that. But
Just
nice
mouth it. Like this guy.
No,
Come on.
I know you.
Just
This is
mouth
a
it.
fucking nasty trap.
It's not a trap.
It always is. Hold on, let me open this. Let
Just
me open
mouth
this.
it. Like this.
It was friends. I'm sorry that you missed my speech.
What's it?
Yeah. I said that I
Was
wanted,
it-
I
was
thanked all my friends.
it-
I was, no, shut up.
Was it not?
No, it was not Robert Plant. Did you get that idea? Of Robert Plant?
I don't know.
No, I tell you who did turn up accidentally. Jeffrey Archer, not looking for my party. Not looking for my party.
What the fuck?
Nick said he was standing there and through the glass he saw Jeffrey Archer.
What the fuck?
So naturally Nick thought, oh well, Jeffrey Archer must be coming to book party. Coming in. So Jeffrey Archer comes in and says to Nick, "Where are the Tracy Emin drawings?" Now, in fact, Tracy Emin's got a show at Jay's other gallery down in Bermondsey. Yeah. So Nick said, "Well, actually, there are no Tracy Emin drawings here. That's the show there." And he showed him the
walls,
the installation,
the warm walls.
And he said, "But actually, Tracy Emin is just over there. If you want to just go and see it." He said, "I'm not interested in that. I only want the drawings."
First among equals. Cain and Abel. Have you read any of his books?
Never.
See, they talk about a fucking fatwa. There's one right there for you.
What do you mean?
Well, they should have put a fatwa out on him, shouldn't they?
Jeffrey Archer.
Yeah.
Well, I've never read his books and I can't comment, but I know this is that he's widely ridiculed by other writers. Yeah, by other writers. But he has I'm sure he sells out. I'm sure publishers love him. Cheers.
Cheers.
Long life.
Good health.
Peace, prosperity.
Live long and prosper.
You see, this is another example of something cheap being better than something expensive. What? Simple Stella Artois. Nice big can, 99p or something. Pork sausages, they're better if they're cheaper.
No, they're not. Guy,
I
that's
know.
disgusting. Do you know what they put in those?
Chocolate is better if it's
The bell end and the hull.
Well, I
You
didn't
don't
know
want to
what's
be
in
chewing on that first thing in the fucking morning. Especially if you felt like I did this morning. The last thing you want to be doing is picking pieces of pig's anus out of your teeth.
Okay, all right. What about chocolate? Chocolate's better than
Shit.
Cheaper
That is
chocolate.
bollocks.
Yeah.
Then you don't like chocolate, if you say that. You don't like chocolate. You like that muck. That
Well,
process.
let's talk about something else. So I
No,
can see
let's
that you
talk
can't
about this.
argue with
I
a
can see
sick
this
mind.
being quite fruitful, this discussion.
No, I
So
think that-
what part of chocolate is better if it's cheap?
Well, the thing about there is an honesty and an openness and a welcomeness and a democratic sort of a democratic mouthful to the Cadbury's Dairy Milk.
They don't even own it anymore. They sold it
Shut
to those
up. I
fuckers.
agree, since Hershey's have taken over, there's been a slight falling off. So there's a slight
It's
problem.
shit,
So we might have to go one tiny bit up. But not really. But
Galaxy.
yeah, or Yorkie. Do they own Yorkie
They
too?
don't do Yorkie anymore, Guy. They've stopped that about 10 years
No, I promise you do Yorkie. They do Yorkie. From the fridge. It has to be cooled. So it's got
There's
that
no point,
snap.
it's like plastic.
It's got that
It's
snap.
plastic and it doesn't melt.
It's got that snap. Whereas the expensive ones are bitter, too small, far too small, far too little chocolate in it.
I see. I like the thinness.
The really expensive.
Where are you on Bendix Mint?
After dinner mint?
No, the Bendix box with all the different kinds in the bitter mints and.
Oh yeah, they're like coins in a kind of. They're like coins in a sort of little row.
Do you like that?
And you have to unwrap each one, don't you?
Where are you on that coffee that a cat eats and then shits out, and it comes out? It's like a long poo made of coffee beans and held together with cat shit, and it's the most expensive coffee in the world. Where are you on that?
I'd have to taste it. I'd have to taste it.
Would you drink that? It's been through a cat's intestinal tract.
Yeah, definitely would. Well, I'd try it.
Civet, is it a civet cat?
Is it what?
Might be a civet.
Certain kind of cat. Yeah.
Certain kind of coffee.
Yeah.
So you would try that?
Yeah.
Is there anything you wouldn't try?
Incest. Folk dancing.
Define incest.
Folk dancing. Otherwise,
You're issuing challenges to me.
otherwise, there's nothing I wouldn't try once.
Once?
Yeah.
Just nailing your bell end to a table.
Oh God, we're all getting back onto this one. No, I don't.
Stapling your
No. I don't mean not self-harm.